sport of
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today on this Wednesday for the Giants, right-hander Adrian Hauser, and for the Padres, right-hander Nick Pivetta. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10 p.m. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stamen. You'll hear from Padres shortstop Xander Bogaerts. Plus, we hear the latest from Padres pitcher Griffin Canning as he works his way back from injury. And in just a little bit, we're joined by Tony Gwynn Jr. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Well, 5 games into 2026, Padres are 1-4. The Giants are 2-3. Padres lost the first 2 games of their season to the Tigers. They salvaged the series finale on Saturday. Now they look to do that again against the Giants today after dropping the first 2 games of this series. Padres are trying to avoid dropping 5 of their first 6 games for the first time since 2018. A little context, Padres didn't lose 4 games in 2025 until they dropped to 14-4 last season. That was 18 games in. So this has been a very, very different start here in 2026. Meanwhile, the Giants began their season 0-3 after getting swept by the Yankees to begin the year. And now today, the Giants go for a sweep here in San Diego. Nick Pivetta making his second start of the season. First one was rough. He allowed 6 runs in just 3 innings on opening day against Detroit. Before we turn our full attention to this series finale, let's quickly recap last night.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander German Marquez making his Padres debut on the mound last night. It was the Giants' Willy Adames who led off.
0-1 pitch, hit in the air, deep down the left field line. Castellanos is back to the corner, and this one is going to go. Hit off the very top of the wall, bounced over the fence, and a home run for Adames. Only the 4th time he has ever led off in a game. The 2nd time he has hit a leadoff home run, and the Giants take a 1-0 lead 2 pitches into the game.
Things didn't get a whole lot better from there. Marquez issued a 1-out walk, then a single. There were 2 in scoring position with 2 men away for Jung-Hoo Lee.
1-1, ripped in the air, deep to right field. Fernando back towards the corner. Going to be over his head and off the wall. Ramos scores, Chapman scores. Lee head first into second. It's a 2-run double and a 3-0 lead for the Giants here in the first.
Matt Chapman, a solo home run in the top of the 3rd to make it 4-0. So the Padres had a hole to climb out of early. They did get a little something going in the bottom of the 3rd. Fernando Tatis Jr. drew a 1-out walk. He stole second. Manny Machado walked, but runners on first and second for Jackson Merrill.
1-0 pitch. Merrill lines it over the head of Arise into right center at a base hit. Fernando rounding third. He's on his way. Manny's digging for third. Here's the throw. Chapman will not have a tag, and the Pods are on the board. Jackson Merrill, an RBI single. It's 4-1.
With just 1 out in the infield back, Xander Bogaerts grounded out to short. That brought Machado home from third. RBI for Bogey. It was a 4-2 game. That ground out also got Merrill to second. He was in scoring position for Miguel Andujar.
First pitch from Webb. Hard hit on the ground. Into right field and a base hit. Merrill speeding around third on his way. Lee comes up throwing the slide. Not in time. And a 1-run game here in the 3rd.
Padres with a 3-run third. It was 4-3 San Francisco. Marquez taken out after just 3 innings and 65 pitches. Kyle Hart pitching a scoreless 4th and 5th. Padres still trailed 4-3 as Hart took the mound for the 6th inning. He got in trouble. Harrison Bader hit a leadoff double. Patrick Bailey walked. There were 2 on with 1 out for Willy Adames.
And Adames lines one up the middle. That's into center field and a base hit. Bader rounding third on his way. Merrill comes up throwing. It'll go to second base. An RBI single for Willy Adames. And the Giants extend their lead. It's 5-3.
Unfortunately, the damage was just beginning. Rafael Devers reaching on an infield single to load the bases. Bradley Rodriguez entered to face Elliot Ramos. He hit a 2-run single. Giants had a 7-3 lead. A sac fly made it 8-3. A 4-run 8th inning. All those runs charged to Kyle Hart, and that was just about the story last night. Logan Webb went 6 innings, allowed just the 3 runs. Giants got 1 more, and their bullpen did a nice job. Final score in the series opener last night, Giants 9 and the Padres 3. And the Padres will try to salvage this series and homestand finale with first pitch coming up at 1:10. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take the pulse of today's game. Tony Gwynn Jr. joins us for a deep dive into today's matchup in our game preview. Brought to you by Amvutra. Ask your doctor about Amvutra and visit Amvutra.com.
Tony, let's begin with the guy on the mound today for the Padres. Right-hander Nick Pivetta had a very rough start on opening day against the Tigers. 3 innings, 6 earned runs given up on 7 hits, 3 walks. They all came in the first inning. They all came in to score. His second start of the season, what will you be looking for from Nick Pivetta to turn what's been a little bit of a rough start around?
I think I would be looking for Nick to command the baseball better. I think he was probably juiced up for his opening day start, and as a result of that, he really didn't command the zone. He didn't command the fastball very well. He didn't really seem to have feel for the breaking ball, and I think Detroit was able to take advantage of it. So I would expect in start 2, he's not as juiced up as he was for the first one, and I think hopefully we get the Nick Pivetta we saw a lot in 2025.
Tony, let's talk about the Padres offense, and I preface this by saying a few of these first 5 games, they are playing from behind, which is not easy to do, but the bottom line is Padres are not scoring a lot right now. They are yet to score more than 3 runs. They're also chasing a lot. What are you seeing from this Padres offense? How do they kind of rev it up a little bit here today?
I think they need to rev it down. I mean, okay. You bring up a great point in the chase. I think the chase can be attributed to them being behind and having, or in at least in their minds, having the force matters. But I just think they're off offensively. Like, Webb wasn't great yesterday. For 4 innings, he was teetering on, the Padres really taking advantage. He made a lot of mistakes with his breaking ball, and there were a lot of foul balls from the Padres versus it seemed like on the other side when Marquez made a mistake with his breaking ball, it ended up over the fence or it ended up in the gap somewhere. And I think really that was the difference in last night's game. But when you kind of take a bigger look for the first 5 at least, the Padres just haven't taken advantage of pitches in the zone. And I think when that starts to happen, now you start to chase a little bit more because now you're trying to force it. You could chalk up, I think, the first 2 to really good pitching. You could even chop up or toss up Roop, who threw the ball. I think the best I've ever seen him throw it.
Yeah.
But there were still times in even all of those games where Padres didn't take advantage of mistakes. And, I think that's part of this offense being in a little bit of a rut.
Tony, let's talk about the Padres lineup a little because today against a right-hander, 4th consecutive game they've seen a right-hander. It is changed a little bit from what it's been. You have Fernando leading off, back in the leadoff spot against a right-hander for the first time. Then Xander batting second, Merrill third, Machado cleanup, Laureano 5th, Cronenworth moved down to the 6th spot. It certainly seems like early in the year when you at least compare him to Mike Schilt and the way those lineups looked, like Craig Stamen's going to be a lot more willing to mix things up when maybe it's not working, and it seems like today might be a little example of that.
I wouldn't even say that it has to do with not working. I think if you were in the 6-week camp like I was, and I know you were because you were there next to me, he pretty much alluded to the fact that he was going to, especially at the back end of spring as we got closer to the season, that he was going to shuffle the lineup until they found something that they liked. And when you're 1-4, 1-5 coming into today's game, 1-4, you can make an argument that he doesn't like what he's seen so far, and so you're going to keep mixing it up until you find something that works. Right now, there isn't really any good evidence that any of it's worked, so I don't think it should be any surprise that this is the case. He alluded to it during spring, and I think the start has only forced his hand to continue to do it.
Yeah, a lot of versatility, malleability, whatever word you want to use to describe the approach to the Padres lineup early this season. And so we'll see how this lineup does today in this series finale. Tony, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Jesse Agler coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. As always, if you want to get involved on our pregame coverage, you can do that in a variety of ways. You can find me on X at SammyLev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well. You can let me know what your key to today's game is. If you have a good key to today's game, worth a while of me reading on air, may just read it on the air and credit you. So again, find me on X or Instagram, or you can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream. When we come back, we revisit what Craig Stamen had to say last night. Plus, a little bit later, hear from Xander Bogaerts and Griffin Canning. Much more to do on our pregame coverage right here on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 1:10, series finale between the Padres and Giants. Padres will have an off day tomorrow and then hit the road for their first road trip of 2026. 3 games at Fenway Park. in Boston, Massachusetts, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then 3 games in Pittsburgh, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It'll be opening day in Boston at Fenway Park on Friday with right-hander Michael King on the mound for the Padres. So that should be a pretty exciting ball game opening day at Fenway Park. Nice opportunity for the Padres to open up the season at obviously a historic venue. But first things first, series finale here today. Padres trying to salvage this series finale, trying to avoid dropping to 1-5 on the year. Certainly don't want to do that. Padres looking for their second win of 2026 here today. Let's hear from Padres manager Craig Stamen before today's game.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stamen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Day game after a night game, so no pregame media availability today for Craig Stamen. So let's quickly revisit what Craig had to say after yesterday's 9-3 loss to the Giants. And I said this postgame yesterday. You looked at the first 3 losses of the season, you really could point to one thing out of each of them that went wrong. Nick Pivetta, rough start on opening day. Bullpen couldn't hold the late lead in game 2 of the season. Third loss of the season, it was about the Padres offense, only 2 singles heading into the 9th inning. But yesterday, well, it was about a little bit of everything. German Marquez had a rough Padres debut, 4 runs given up in 3 innings. Padres fell behind 3-0. Bullpen could not hold the 1-run deficit when the Padres cut it to 4-3, and the Padres offense only had 3 runs on 6 hits. Right-hander Logan Webb got the win yesterday for the Giants. He allowed just the 3 runs in 6 innings of work. Here was Craig Stamen after the game on the Padres at bats against Logan Webb.
You know, I thought we actually handled him pretty well early, and then he started throwing more 4-seams and cutters there at the end, which is kind of against his usual game plan, and he kind of stifled us there the last couple innings, got himself through 6. So, you know, an ace pitcher, we battled him pretty hard. You know, had that inning in the third, but, you know, we couldn't get anything else after that.
When it comes to Kyle Hart, your decision to keep him in the 6th for that Willie Adames at bat, what went into that decision?
Yeah, I felt like I wanted him to face Devers. And, you know, Kyle had been pitching really well up until that point, and just felt like he was the guy at that moment. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20, and maybe could have went with somebody else there. We never know what would have happened. But I trusted Kyle in that situation. He's been throwing the ball really well, you know, really cruised through the first 2, so felt comfortable with him in the third.
The other 3 losses seemed like they had like maybe one thing to really point to. Tonight wasn't the cleanest game. What was your take on how this one kind of devolved?
Yeah, I think it's always tough when you get down early, you know, especially in that first inning where you get in the dugout and you're already done, you know, down 3. Same thing kind of happened on opening day. And then, you know, we made a little bit of a comeback there, still down 1. And then, you know, we just got to be able to, you know, hold that deficit as long as we can to give our offense a chance. And, you know, Webb kind of turned his game up, and then, you know, we kind of struggled to hold them down in that 6th inning.
There weren't any errors, but like there's a bunch of plays, like, I don't know, Jackson ran like 200 feet practically
right,
and then stopped. Do you have any idea what happened on that play? Or
yeah, I'm not sure. You know, it's pretty far away from the dugout. I'm sure Fernando and Jackson were both going for it. They both probably hurt each other and then stopped. But, you know, have to watch a replay to see, you know, what the communication was like, talk to those guys, and then, you know, see if we can make it better next time.
What do you think of Marquez?
I think he just didn't have, you could tell right away, didn't have his breaking ball, and that's his bread and butter. And, you know, they were on it, you know, pretty hard tonight. So, you know, go back to the drawing board, and, you know, hopefully his next start's better. He gets that breaking ball going like we saw in spring training, and then he'll be in good shape.
There were some questions about the back end of the rotation kind of coming into the season. 2 starts in for those 2 guys in the back end dropping a couple games. What do you kind of make of where that stands right now and your level of confidence?
Yeah, try not to judge people on one outing, you know, especially a 3-inning outing or a 4-inning outing. But, you know, these guys are big league pitchers, and try to, you know, hopefully give them a little bit of chance to prove themselves before we come to any rash decisions on that stuff.
What do you make of the swing and miss, kind of the chase early from this offense? Do you attribute that to, you know, some of the being down early in games, or is it a little more just concerning, even though it's a small sample so far?
Yeah. You know, like I said, I thought we battled Webb really well for the first 3-4 innings. And then he kind of just changed the game plan on us. And we did a really good job of not chasing, honestly, in my opinion. And then when a game gets out of hand, things change a little bit on their approach. But for the most part, I'm happy with the bats that we're taking. It's just, we got to be able to push runs across. We got to get hits when we need them. And we just haven't been able to get those right now.
What is your perspective 1/30th of the way through the season?
1/30th of the way, huh?
Gave you that one. But 5 games in, one time through the rotation, just like, what is your perspective right now?
Yeah, we're not playing our best right now, and like you said, it's 1/30th of the season. We got 29 30ths to go, and I'm excited for those 29 30ths.
That was Padres manager Craig Stamen after yesterday's 9-3 loss to the Giants. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Yes, it is very, very early, albeit not the start the Padres were looking for at 1-4. We'll see if they can salvage this series finale coming up at 1:10. As we get ready for today's game, let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
It has been quite an opening week for rookies around Major League Baseball, so that will be the subject of Around the Horn today. Quite a debut last night for Diamondbacks rookie Jose Fernandez in his Major League debut with Arizona. The 22-year-old hit 2 home runs in a D-backs win, including a go-ahead 3-run home run in the 8th inning. How about this? Major League rookies this season have a collective 849 OPS. That's 161 points higher than Major League average right now. 5 players have homered in their Major League debut so far this season. That's as many as the previous 2 seasons combined, and we're not even a week into the year. So it has been a remarkable opening week for rookies in particular. Speaking of rookies, Guardians rookie right fielder Chase DeLauder left yesterday's game in LA after fouling a pitch off his back foot. Guardians later announcing that DeLauder had suffered a left foot contusion and x-rays were negative. So good news there for Cleveland. And that's a quick look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. A look at the rookie class of 2026. They've been very, very impressive so far. When we come back, we'll hear from Xander Bogaerts, plus an update from Griffin Canning, who the Padres signed in the offseason. Certainly when he's ready to return from the IL, you would expect he will be a part of this Padres rotation. We hear from Canning. We hear from Bogaerts, our keys to today's game. What to watch for in a full breakdown of today's pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Adrian Hauser. Much, much more to do as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 1:10 here at Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, friends. It's Woodsy here. Is your water working for you or against you? I've trusted EcoWater.
Padres baseball coming up here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. Plenty of folks here inside the loft enjoying their beers and their mixed drinks and their cut waters and all the great food they have here in downtown San Diego. Petco Park filling in on what is a little bit of a chilly early Wednesday afternoon. Some clouds up there, some blue skies up there as well. Should be a nice afternoon for baseball for this series finale between the Padres and Giants. As always, our pregame coverage brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. Let's give you the latest on the Padres injury front.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
An update on a number of guys that are getting pretty close to returning off the IL here towards the start of the season. Jason Adam, Padres reliever, is scheduled to make back-to-back rehab appearances in the minor leagues Friday and Saturday. So when he does that, we'll update you on those. Sungmoon Song continues to be on a rehab assignment with AAA El Paso as he works his way back from that oblique injury. Matt Waldron throwing 3 scoreless innings with AAA El Paso on Friday. We'll see when his next rehab start is. Joe Musgrove, we know he started playing catch last week, but still no definitive timeline on when he will return from the IL. And finally, Griffin Canning, who the Padres signed in the offseason. Remember, Canning tore his Achilles with the Mets last summer. We knew that it was going to be a little bit of a build-up for Canning. He would not be ready by opening day, but it wouldn't be too long after that. Well, Canning's scheduled to make a rehab start on Saturday. I caught up with Griffin Canning inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Sam Levitt here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. And right now I'm joined by Padres pitcher Griffin Canning, who we caught up with during spring training. He's inside the Padres clubhouse today as he continues to work his way back towards the Padres roster. Griffin, what's the latest on what you've been doing?
Yeah, through 3 innings, got up to 50 pitches the other day. Feel great. Feel like I'm bouncing back really well. And then getting ready to head out and start my rehab starts and kind of go from there and build up.
What's the first step as far as rehab start?
I think it'll be right around the same, probably around 3 innings. I'm excited. This will be my first kind of real competition, and since I got hurt, so I'm looking forward to it.
When we spoke to you during spring training, it sounded like even back then, like you, from a pitching standpoint, were right where you wanted to be, and it was more of a process of just kind of jumping through the hoops of making sure coming back from the Achilles injury was kind of where it should be. Is that where you still sort of feel where the pitching's right where it should be, and it's just now building up?
I feel like everything else is starting to catch up. My running's gotten a lot better. Some of these sim games I've been in, I've gotten some. I got a 3-6-1 double play that I got over and covered for. I got a little comebacker. I feel like I'm starting to move pretty well. But it's going to be a process. I'm going to be working on the strength aspect of it all year. And just kind of staying on top of things. But yeah, I feel great.
Is it a confidence thing too, just knowing you have the ability to move freely, and I guess mentally as well, knowing that you're not worrying about anything kind of re-injuring yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think kind of when I've been in these game situations facing hitters, my natural instincts are taking over. So I don't feel like I'm guarding it as much anymore. So yeah, feels good.
We're joined by Padres pitcher Griffin Canning here on the Padres Radio Network. Has this been weird at all to break camp, to now kind of be in and out, going to your different rehab assignments, watching the team from afar?
Yeah, I think it's been good. Obviously, just getting to know the guys and be around the team, be here for the games. It's always a little weird starting on the IL. Just want to get out there and help contribute to the team.
I know this is still a bit of a ways away with the rehab start. You still have to do some, but is there sort of a target date, target week that you guys are focusing on when you would return?
Maybe. I think I'm throwing 3 innings this weekend, and I got to get up to 5. So we'll see if I need to repeat one here and there, but feel like I'm on track to get back pretty soon.
Well, Griffin, appreciate the time. Best of luck as the rehab process continues, and we'll talk to you again down the road. Thanks.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
That was Padres pitcher Griffin Canning earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Griffin again scheduled to make a rehab start on Saturday. We'll update you on that when he does make that rehab start. And hopefully Griffin Canning will be back soon. Could be a very valuable piece to the Padres rotation as we get ready for today's game here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 1:10, this series finale between the Padres and Giants. Nick Pivetta on the mound for San Diego. Right-hander Adrian Hauser about to make his Giants debut and his 2026 debut on the mound for San Francisco. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of finals already today. Marlins blanking the White Sox 10-0. Marlins are 5-1 to begin the year. A very good opening homestand. White Sox are now 1-5. Pirates beat the Reds 8-3 in Cincinnati. O'Neal Cruz, a 3-run home run in that game for the Pirates. Paul Skeens after that tough start on opening day. Much better today. 5 innings, 1 earned run given up on 5 hits. Other finals, Orioles beat the Rangers 8-3. Braves beat the A's 5-1. Games going on right now. Nationals lead the Phillies 5-3 in Philadelphia in the 8th inning. Rockies and the Blue Jays tied at 1 in the 8th inning in Toronto. Mets ahead of the Cardinals 1-0 in St. Louis in the 6th. Rays 2, Brewers 2 in the 7th inning in Milwaukee. Astros lead the Red Sox 5-2 in Houston in the 5th inning. Remember, Padres will go to Boston on Friday. Red Sox off to a rough start. They're 1-4, and if they don't come back in that game, they drop to 1-5 to begin the year. Cubs lead the Angels 5-0 in Chicago in the 5th inning. Tigers and Diamondbacks are just underway, scoreless in Arizona. Games yet to begin. Yankees and Mariners coming up at 1:10. A good pitching matchup there. George Kirby on the mound for Seattle and Cam Schlittler on the mound for the Yankees. The Twins and the Royals in Kansas City at 4:40. And finally, Guardians and the Dodgers in LA at 5:20. Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound tonight for the Dodgers. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Wednesday. First pitch coming up at 1:10, series finale here at Petco Park on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game on the Padres Radio Network.
Our keys to today's game. Key number 1, and this is probably the key of all keys here today for the Padres after the first 5 games of the season. Padres have got to get this offense going. It has been a very, very slow start to 2026 for these Padre hitters. The Padres have yet to score more than 3 runs in a game. Their 12 runs total are tied with the Twins for the second fewest in all of baseball. Through 5 games, they're hitting 182 with a 515 OPS. And I'm not trying to pile on, but both those numbers are the worst in baseball. That's hard to believe with the talent in this lineup. Manny is 3 for 15 with no RBIs. Jake Cronenworth is 3 for 17 with no RBIs. Xander Bogaerts is 4 for 20. He has not scored a run in 5 games. The other issue is that the Padres are chasing a ton. They have one of the highest chase rates in baseball to begin the year. And actually, the guy they're facing today, right-hander Adrian Hauser, he increased his chase rate by nearly 7% last season. So today, this is a matchup between a pitcher who had hitters chasing more than earlier in his career last season and a lineup today that is currently chasing a ton. So you got to get this offense going, and it seems like a sub-key today to that would be don't chase as much as you've been chasing. Now, playing from ahead would probably help that, but bottom line, one way or another, Padres got to score more, and you're looking at more than 3 runs today, hopefully. Key number 1. Key number 2, win against Willie. I'm talking about Willie Adames at the top of the Giants lineup. He was moved to the leadoff spot for the Giants on Monday. He was just 2 for 15 entering last night's game with no extra base hits or RBIs, and Adames is back in the leadoff spot today. Last night, Willie Adames was great. He had 4 hits and a home run, so you don't want to allow Adames to set the tone at the top of the Giants lineup. And key number 3, it's not like Adrian Hauser is going to go 8-9 innings today in his season debut. So you know you're going to have to face the Giants bullpen. This has been a tough bullpen so far. 5 games in, a 1.93 ERA combined with a 159 opponent batting average. So the Padres have to find a way to get to those Giants relievers here today. And that's a look at our keys to the game. When we come back, we take a deeper look at today's starting pitcher for the Padres, Nick Pivetta. Plus, we hear from Xander Bogaerts, Padres shortstop. Much, much more to do as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 1:10 here on the Padres Radio Network.
Keep it locked to the EcoWater.
EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 1:10. We'll hear from Padres shortstop Xander Bogaerts in just a little bit. Little bit of a different lineup today for the Padres against right-hander Adrian Hauser. We talked about this with Tony Gwynn Jr. a little bit earlier, but Fernando Tatis Jr. against a right-hander leading off for the first time this year. Then Xander Bogaerts batting second, Jackson Merrill batting third, Manny Machado cleaning up. Ramon Laureano back in the lineup after a day off yesterday, batting fifth. Jay Cronenworth in the sixth spot. Then Sheets, Fermin, and Johnson, Bryce Johnson getting the start in left field today, batting ninth. So a little bit of a different lineup against a right-hander. We've mentioned this many times. It always seemed, even in spring training, like Craig Stamen would be a little bit more malleable with the Padres lineup day-to-day based on who they were facing, what was working, what wasn't working, and it certainly seems like that through the first week of the season. Let's dive into Nick Pivetta, what he has to do today as we tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for today? Pretty simple. Can Nick Pivetta bounce back? His first start of the year against the Tigers was not a good one. 3 innings, 6 earned runs given up on 7 hits. He walked 3. He gave up 5 earned runs just 3 times last season in 31 starts. So opening day was a real rarity for Pivetta in a Padres uniform. Put it this way. He allowed more runs on opening day than he did through his first 5 starts of last season combined. Last season, Pivetta was very good in this particular role. Coming off a loss, he went 8-3 with a 2.27 ERA in 17 starts after a Padres loss last year. So he was the stopper. Pivetta made 4 starts against the Giants last season. They were all pretty solid, a 3.75 ERA in 24 innings against San Francisco in 2025. Some matchups to watch today, some good, some not so good. Willy Adames is 5 for 16 lifetime against Pivetta with a home run. Jung-Hoo Lee is 6 for 12 against him with a home run and 3 doubles. Lee had 3 hits last night with a couple of doubles and 3 RBIs. So Adames and Lee, very good against Pivetta. Keep an eye on those guys. He has been very good against Matt Chapman, who has a 194 lifetime career batting average against Pivetta in 31 at-bats. So what to watch for today? To me, pretty simple. Can Nick Pivetta bounce back today after what was a rough opening day, set the tone early, allow the Padres an opportunity to play from ahead? That's what to watch for in this series finale. On the mound for the Giants, right-hander Adrian Hauser today, 33 years old, about to make his season debut. 3.31 ERA in 21 starts last season between the White Sox and the Rays. He has not faced the Padres since 2024 when he was with the New York Mets. Generally, Hauser has been good against San Diego, a 3 ERA in 33 innings. He has not pitched here at Petco Park since 2022 when he was a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, Xander Bogaerts at shortstop for the Padres here today. It's been a slow offensive start for Xander, just 4 for 20, no walks, no runs scored in 5 games. Padres could certainly use a big day out of the X-Man here today. Here was Xander Bogaerts earlier inside the clubhouse.
What's your kind of assessment of your start to the season? It looks like at the plate you're pretty comfortable that he hitting some balls at guys. What do you kind of make of it?
I just hate that, I'm not that type of guy. Like hitting balls right at guys or looking at expected stats. I mean, I'm never that type of guy. So it's a little frustrating sometimes. We all want results. We all want to win, Same time as you say, we've been playing good games, but then we lose, So been a very realistic guy, and if they fall, it'll be better,
Xander, how do you balance, I suppose, you've been doing this a long time, the knowledge that it's a long year versus getting off to a bit of a slow start as a team and perhaps having, I guess, a bit of a sense of urgency when you get off to a slower start?
Yeah. Who don't want to be 4 or 5-0, right? I mean, who don't want to be hitting 660 right now, I mean, it's just the reality, but it doesn't always go the way we want. It's not an easy game like that. I think I saw somewhere last year we started 14-4. I mean, we still have a chance, right? I mean, we're 1-4, you just get hot, but it's just a little harder for that to be possible. But sometimes you have a hot start, sometimes you don't, the same thing hitting wise. Sometimes I've had a good start, and sometimes not. So it sucks having to play from behind. As I said, we all want to have a good start, but that's not the case that we're going through right now.
I want to ask you about the domino table. If I recall, that domino table was not here, at least that we could see in prior years. Who got the domino table in the building? Because I know you're a big domino player.
Wandy got it. He got it. We had it. It's been training for a little bit, but it's nice, just sometimes just for me, it just clears your mind a little bit, have fun. And I'm very competitive. So, I mean, we be chirping back and forth. And I think that brings the best out of us. It can get a little dangerous, a lot of arguing and stuff, but as long as we control our emotions, it'll be fine.
And you play a lot in Aruba during the offseason, right?
I play a lot. Now it's a little hard playing one-on-one because there's a lot of stones that are out. You don't really know where they are or what he has, but it's been fun.
That was Padres shortstop Xander Bogaerts earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. I should have prefaced the domino questions for you a little bit before we heard from Xander. You know, you show up every year inside the clubhouse, and you always take note of the new things inside the clubhouse and what guys are doing, and all of a sudden this domino table shows up, and today Wandy Peralta, Xander Bogaerts, they were playing at the domino table. Guys will do all kinds of things during the season to, loosen up and have fun with each other. Certainly card playing, a big activity as well on a lot of major league clubhouses, but that's where the domino table questions came from. Always good to talk to Xander, and hopefully Xander can have a good day at the plate and in the field today as the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants. One thing that can ease some of the pressure for the Padres, pitching-wise, defense-wise, is simply by scoring more runs. The Padres have scored 3 runs or fewer in each one of their 5 games this season. The last time the Padres have scored 12 runs or fewer through their first 5 games, that was in 2014. It's only happened 9 other times in Padres history. So if the Padres want to avoid joining that kind of company here in 2026, they've got to find a way to get this offense going, play from ahead. And guess what? When you score a lot of runs, that can kind of cover up some other things going on with your team. So hopefully the Padres can get this offense going here today against right-hander Adrian Hauser and the Giants bullpen. Again, to set the table one more time for you, 6th game of 2026, final game of this 3-game series between the Padres and Giants, and the final game of this season opening 6-game homestand. Padres come in 1-4, Giants come in 2-3. Padres losing on Monday night by a final score of 3-2, losing last night by a final of 9-3. And now today they turn the ball to Nick Pivetta on the mound, making his 2nd start of the season. Pivetta, a tough start on opening day, gave up 6 runs in 3 innings, and we'll see if Nicky P can put it together in a better way here today. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, Jesse Ackler, Tony Gwynn Jr. ready to go inside the broadcast booth. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network.
Are you planning a home renovation? Getting quotes on windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, or flooring? Before you commit, visit the Window Depot and make sure you're not